Hey, it's Jen from Not So Mystical Tarot. This is going to be your reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising for August 2019. Personal journeys, spiritual paths, wellness, all of that kind of little bit of woo-woo. We're gonna hammer it all out and find out what's going on with your spiritual journey, with your personal wellness, the path that you're on. Just all about you. What do you have going on here? The Tower. You're shaking things up, and you know what? This is actually a really good thing. And the Hanged Man. I feel like you've been in a routine. This is what I do. This is what I do. Blah 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 blah. And you've been like, the thing is, until there's a shakeup, you're gonna just keep doing the same thing you've been doing until something changes your mind. Now, when the Tower comes up, I have a Tower necklace that I wear all the time. It's one of my favorite cards. You don't have to be all traumatized by this. When the Tower comes up, you know what it says to me? It says, this is the deal. You can choose to be proactive in the path that you're on, or you can choose to be reactive. With the universe, if you continually ignore the signs that it's time to do something different, it's time to do something different, it's time to do something different, and you continually ignore that, you know what happens? The universe steps in, does something that shakes your world up, the very foundation you stand on crumbles beneath you, and you are forced to rebuild it. Or you can say, geez, I'm hearing the universe say it's time for something different. I guess I'll be proactive about that. So before all hell breaks loose and I'm forced to make a decision, maybe I'll be proactive and I'll make the decision now. And that's where this Hanged Man comes in. It's time to look at everything you're doing differently. You may be, I feel like some of my Aquarians, and I'm an Aquarius too, okay, so I'm not beating you up. I feel like we are on some kind of a path where we're like, well, this pretty much works, so I'm going to keep doing this because it pretty much works. Well, is that kind of where you want to go spiritually? This pretty much works? And I feel like that's like kind of what's happening. And it's time to really look at every single thing we're doing and say, does this make sense? Is this valuable? Or am I just doing this because it's what I've always been doing? Am I just doing this because it's what I've been doing before, so I'm doing it now? Is that what we're doing? That seems like kind of what's going on. Let's get a little bit more information here. Temperance. Okay. I like the Temperance card with the Tower. It's like, okay, because we have a tendency, once we make the decision, to barrel on in and just create havoc. And you know what? The Temperance card says, let's have a little bit deep breath. Let's have a little bit of emotional balance here, because emotions are hard enough to deal with, and I think sometimes we make the decision to handle something and then we go in with guns blazing and we make a little bit of a disaster out of things. We have a tendency to Tower moment ourselves, not even wanting to do that, but it just kind of happens. Let's get a little information on this Hanged Man, how we can look at things a little bit differently, to change the path without, like I said, to avoid the ruckus, okay, to avoid the Tower moment. Let's take a look at how can we look at things differently to avoid this moment, okay? And now here you have this. You have the universe saying, here's this earthly, grounded way that you can approach this. It's saying approach it from like how an earth sign would, from a grounded way of looking at things. Approach it from that way. That's the way that you need to look at this. Not so much, well, it's black and it's white, and if that's the way it is, and, all logic. Sometimes you have to put a little bit of that earth sign energy into it. So how can we be grounded, be proactive about the change we need to make, not be emotionally unstable, be very cool and collected? How would an earth sign approach this? Earth signs are very grounded, and like I said, because of what we're talking about, you have an opportunity to look at this from the earth sign point of view in a very grounded way, which says to me, you know what, same thing, don't go charging in. You can take a small step. You don't have to leap. You can take a small step toward change, because I think sometimes when things aren't exactly the way we wanted them to be, we say, well, we're going to throw it all away and start over. And you know what? That can happen if we let it go too long, but I think we can make small changes, take advantage of the ability that we have to make the small changes, and we will be able to set ourselves on that path, kind of redirect our course a little bit without having to throw it all away. You do have the Eight of Cups. Like I said, it's a redirection. You're not making a big scene, you're keeping it low key. This person is walking towards something that really suits them, and by default, these cups get left behind. This person is not focusing on what's getting left behind. They're not walking backwards staring at these cups, right? Then I would say, well, you're focusing on what you're leaving behind. You're not. You're focused on what is next. And that just kind of helps you refine your process. And that's what I feel like is going on here. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of deal. We want to just refine our process a little bit and move toward what really works for us. And you get the King of Cups. What makes you feel like you can breathe again? What makes you feel emotionally that you're comfortable with, what you're okay with moving forward? You're going from a place of maybe not being comfortable with your path to a place of being comfortable with your path. And the two cards that come up are going to blow you away. You have the World coming up. Every opportunity is available to you when you choose to walk toward it, okay? Because you leave behind the stuff that wastes your time. When you walk toward that opportunity, everything's available to you. You pick and you choose, and look at this. The Star comes up. The Star is the card of the Aquarians. It's the card that represents us, okay? This is anything you want to be, do, and have. If you can walk toward what really suits you, pick and choose your different opportunities, be comfortable where you are emotionally, you have the ability to have anything that you want, to be on the path that you want to be on. Yeah, there are people who are going to think you're a little bit nuts, but that's really not your problem. And honestly, you really don't care. You really don't care anyways. Open yourself up, be willing to afford yourself the opportunity to be everything that you spiritually have the potential to be. August is it seems like a turning point for the Aquarians. It seems like you're going to kind of I don't think you're going to do a 180. You're not going the opposite direction. You're just going to kind of tweak the path you're on and really embrace who you are becoming. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to hear how this resonates with everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.